from the fire inside. We go out and take over the night. Keep it burning. We've come so far to be standing where we are. It feels so close, like we're reaching for the stars. You take my breath away, baby, it's you. Who can take my breath away? You take my breath away, baby, it's you. Who can take my breath away? We go out like a flame in the light. Feel the heat from the fire inside. We go out and take over the night. Keep it burning. We've come so far to be standing where we are. It feels so close, like we're reaching for the stars. You take my breath away, baby, it's you. Who can take my breath away?
Good morning, or whatever it is, wherever you are. I think this song's actually just about done here. And it, not that one. Forgot to put that up. That's what song was playing. All right. So I suppose we should actually do a quick little check. Oh, well, I still haven't modified the settings for this yet. Auto login we'll want to set up after we log in once. Custom server address is my laptop. Oh, there's a. Well, that's a handy little reference. Okay. I have to remember that's there. Hmm. means I might be able to locally modify to create shorthand. Hmm. Full screen, I actually think we're going to want off. I forget if I want that one on. Reflector. No reason to bother JSON servers. Review server URL. Tutorial done. Wonder what those are for. Use custom server. And actually custom server is doable in the game UI now. I forget about that. Alright, so I think that's everything except auto login. Okay, do we need an email address? Okay, cool. So now that that's been set up, oh no, yeah, hard to quit mode actually we don't want. That is for like show demos and things. So settings, auto login. And that should no, maybe we need a at b.c. Okay, a at b.c and blah 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 blah. There we go. You just have to have everything defined. So what we want to do is make it so that looking up here will not activate this tree. If I want a tree, I'll click on the tile of the tree. Well, I guess the tree in the tile. But other times, I don't remember if there's any like actual swamp around here or anything. Oh, and this doesn't have my alternate thing because it's a different executable. But a lot of times when you're running around, and especially when you get into some of these denser, yes, in a dense swamp. Yeah, like trying to go through these things is just impossible. And you can micro target like running, like here. I'll get it's stuck bouncing on a tree. So I would like if you had to click down here for the trees, and this just ignored it. Oh, and my branch name on this has long been inappropriate. So until I get around trying to make separate patches for things, it's just going to be my custom branch. So the first thing, is there anything special for trees? Okay, there's one thing that's probably indirectly for trees. Ignore clicks on self behind tree. Recently dropped a baby skip. What is this doing? Path to dest. Get closest object part. Well, that's some function. Check for pointer hit. Well, that sounds like a promising place to look. So the other thing we were looking at was already behind tree, apparently. Recently dropped baby. Held by someone. Don't draw... what? Don't draw now. What are we looping over here? Hit an object. What if someone is standing behind it? So this would be any object that it might be behind. Two cells above. One cell to left and right. So this is probably to cover the size of most objects. So at this point we've already determined that we hit the tree. And this is looking for, oh, you know what? This might be the thing where it will draw, fade up things that are out if you hover over it. Don't draw the child if they're held by something else. Recently dropped baby skip. Click on self behind tree. So you hit an object. It's not a person, and it's not yourself. You can hit a person that blocks it. Okay, we have short objects and tall objects. Min dist that hits. Already hit a short object. This is going for the nearest object. And this object is tall. Get object height of OID is greater than cell dimension. Closest cell Y. Probably positive is down. So if it's farther down, hit our placement behind. I already hit a short object and this object is tall, else close to cell, hit slot, hit an object, true. Hit our placement behind. Min dist that hits. Ignore transparent parts. Get closest object part. That it could be interesting. Get object, draw behind player. Map move speeds. Map move offset. mean they're out of bounds. Drawn behind objects. When checking them next, people in this row. So I'm not as interested in people. Although people are other tall objects, potentially. 3 around because of moving object offsets. Non-drawn behind, in front of people. Where is the actual top of this? Check for pointer hit. Rintif? Linear in something? Okay, so that's the cell ID. That's the intercell offset. Then we have a record. Closest cell is initially our click cell. M force ground click. That would be nice when I'm running. Ah, when walking on a road. Oh. That's something I might be able to steal from Autorun. Because that does a fake click as well. Although I think there's other issues with that. And that's just ground. Click test map. Map offset. Greater than 0, so map D. Maybe this is the section of the map that is currently in memory? Our live object. I don't know the mouse ever clicked cell after click until they mess out and back it again. For not in motion, last click cell. Grid pause. Oh, so this might be the hover fade stuff. Prev mouse over cells. That might be a factor. All short objects are mouse throughable. Get object height less than cell D. So these are short objects. So I might have to work out something where I can get some better feedback about what object we're hitting, what properties it has. So that is, this whole thing applies only, oh, short objects can probably be moused through behind tall objects. Well, it doesn't apply to players, we already know that. If there's an object there. So we're already in an object loop. Get closest object part. So moving object offsets. Hit an object true. Don't click through short behind short. People in this row. Do not click through short behind short. If it's a tall object, already a short object and this object is tall. Hit our placement behind. What's hit our placement? Indus that hits. Condition motion, false. The other person or P hit self. What is hit our placement? Indus that hits. Just hit an object. When do we set it that that's not and hit object? So you hit something, then we set it to a false if it's a player. All right, so I need so we do appear to have a log. I need to know how to write the log. App log, set signal, auto sprintf. Well, yeah, that's messages. That's minor gems. App log. I guess app log.h. So critical error, but it should be app log. Log pointer wrapper. So it gets included so he can use it when he needs to. What's info F? Oh, so it's just straight up string format. And then info with logger name. Oh. class app log. No, he doesn't seem to be specifying an instance. Hit our, okay. There are various things in here. I don't really know what they are. I'll have object in motion. And pause. There's a loop over the map. The OID is the map, click dest map index. Wait. How do you even... No, because we go over every location. No, let's just click dest. Oh. And then we search around in 3 tiles. Yeah, this is only map objects. So players are kind of layer over it, maybe? Okay, players would have to be, because they can stand on a lot of things. Out of map bounds, OID. So when we just... Well, this is also because of moving object. Not get object, draw behind player. Get closest object part. And this object is tall. Well, this is if we hit something. I want to actually hit nothing if it's a tall object. But he's using a generic hit an object. Where is that? Get closest object part. Editor animation. Object bank. No, that's using it. Okay, parameters are object record, container maybe, clothing set, in contained, in worn, in picked layer, out sprite, out clothing, out slot, consider transparent, consider empty slots. Okay, out sprite. Foot index? This is like checking all the possible clothing stuff. Clothing. Tunic head. Join body currently. Check sprite layer. In object sprite pause. If it's a person, oh, you can ask an object if it's a person. Okay. Well, once you've got the object. So maybe an OID is actually an object? Oh, maybe a sprite is a player. Consider slots. So does this not actually do map stuff? And this is all for like baskets and things? Oh, display ID. Oh. Our live object. Get elements I. Oh, that's game objects. Oh, so is that not related to OID? Get object drawn behind player. Okay, so there is an object record with it. All right, so what can we know about an object? Object bank? Object bank. Oof. It's a lot of... It would most likely be a class. Or a struct. Type def struct object record. How did I miss object bank anyway? Because it wasn't showing up in the one search. We hadn't scrolled down far enough. Okay, so there's a description. Attainable, contained size, permanent. Then hand, writable, blocks walking. Drawn behind player. Biomes found in, map chance, heat value. Bunch of purple stuff. Okay, and then objects can have sprites. Probably sprites contain the height. There's a cached height. And there's a get object height that probably recomputes that. Non-variable dummy IDs. Printable. We have metadata. Object record. Well, maybe there's a description. Maybe. Well, yeah, like a tree would have a description. The name, I presume. Alright, game source object bank. This is for a moving object currently. Well, this is probably not even... So I think, well, you know what? I've got a really easy way to test this. Without figuring out printing. We just take out the 3 around. Anyway, it says it's for moving objects. Yep. Okay, now it's you. We are still in build. When you want to make. And then we want to copy to build. Windows. One Life 149. Not copy. OneLife.exe. Oh, right, we're in a virtual Unix shell. Okay, so that is in fact where did I run across that big old wall of trees? And we're still pathing around trees? Oh, well, a bunch of boars here too. So here's a big mess of trees. And a bunch of ores. So maybe I shouldn't be walking behind trees. But that's like so much easier to navigate. So that's definitely it. So the problem now is he's identified that as for moving objects. Huh. Oh yeah, I don't even... Wait, can I interact with trees now? Oh. Okay, so he's relying on that for more than just... Okay, so I can highlight those, but I can't even highlight trees at their base anymore. But somehow short objects still work. So maybe there's some property of trees that keeps them from showing up in other tests? Like ignores tall objects entirely? Okay. So what's going on here? What would this find? Map objects. Trees might be non-drawn behind. Actually, let me, so this is called a crafting reference. Tech tree, crafting recipe. No. This does not give, like, general stats. I would have to actually figure out the... If we turn this back on, we ought to be able to get object IDs, and then... Well, wait a minute, we've got... objects, so... maple tree. So interesting, lots of things actually do have names on them. Except for the name, interestingly enough. Containable 0, contain size, permanent, this must be a default value. I'll just pick up that maple tree. Because it's probably because it's permanent. Oh. So in theory, you could have objects with a min pickup age less than 3. Blocks walking, blocking radius. Well, there must be something else going on with this. Chance 0? We were interested in, oh, there's this use distance thing. Time slot, sprite. What does position mean? Over 1 and up 2? Well, if it's a big object, I'd expect that to be both negative. Age range. Behind slots. There's another pause. Is that like, oh, maybe that's pixel offset, not map offset. Because these pauses must have multiple meanings. Like one is the branch slot. Drawn behind player 0. So it is a non-drawn behind object. Click offset non-drawn behind map objects in this row. I guess the thing I'm curious about is which tile. Well, no, because it would still show up as something. It'd have to be one of the tiles. Map move speeds. Min distance that hits. Where else can we do hit an object? False, 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 false. You can do it here. Min dist that hits. What are we throwing? So we're only checking short objects before this. So we are simply not checking tall objects. Which makes sense for what we saw. So I kind of want to say what do we have? But, right, because the trees get caught on checking around. This gets caught on the object itself. But this is only the cell itself, right? There's not a for loop here? Also have to close that. Oh, because there was an and. Is this... can I still eat? Ooh. Interesting. So I am a tall object. So essentially, we're going to have to do that second. So we do that second loop, but only consider players. So this is slightly cheaty now. Because you can, like, hide things behind trees that... Ooh. And that's not going to detect as a... Oh. And then you can't see it. It's not even detecting that the tree is there. Okay. So we have two problems right now. One problem is that cannot click on upper part of player. And the other problem is cannot see through to objects behind trees. The player is somewhat surprising. But maybe that's also checking for sprites on any of the tiles, so you'd still have to check. Well, yeah, when check. That would be clicking on a different tile for a sprite contained in that tile. Right, because I'd be searching around, finding that thing that it's high enough. So we want to identify objects that are behind. We want to be able to see through tall objects, but not click on them. And I don't know if we can make that distinction. So we search all around for objects that might have extensive sprites. Non-drawn behind. I guess that's drawn behind player. Map objects in this row. Out of map bounds, so map index, object ID, not drawn behind player, object record, map move speed. Get closest object part. Min dist that hits. Is that a local variable? Yes, that is a local variable. Which is never updated. Interestingly, what if we did that? Oh, I might need that once again to hit players. I don't remember how this is indented. Although trees seemed to cause trouble like pretty much anywhere. Actually, can I do this as... single line? Okay, we still detect the tree. Yeah, so I don't know what distance is about. Yeah, that's still on me. Okay. Ooh. He blocked Alt F4. Alright, so min dist that hits. Don't know what that is. Okay, short objects. And we found... and I could figure this in the diff, but... that we do not consider tall objects in the cell at all. Because we assume we're going to pick up the tall objects in the scan. So this is a hit. It hits a slot, if there was one. Gets a cell. So to continue to hit trees, we'll need to do that. Hit the trees as short objects, or as the cell itself. So the question is there a difference between this hit and if we hit an object on the scan around? So it didn't actually set hit. What are we searching here, though? Yeah, this is the map slots. Already hit a short object, and this object is tall. Hit our placement. Hit our placement behind. So that's for an object. Checking the next people in this row. So we have to do this for people. Still don't know what placement means. Okay, so live objects. Yes, this is all the game objects. So you'd think, well, this is not doing a hit test, is it? Person clicked, person clicked. So you'd think person clicked would pick that up. Non-drawn behind objects in this row. Already hit a short object, and this object is tall. Hit our placement behind. Wait, did I lose my place? If we didn't hit a person that blocks it. What if a person is... Did I loop around? I must have, looking at something. Because there's only one tree. Alright, oh. But there's two people checks. But one of them doesn't mention trees. Oh, man. What's D? It's 0 to 2? Is this like if you hit multiple things, it's distance layer? Like number of layers you had to go through? Object itself, hit other person. Get closest object part. is this based on? This is going through game objects. It seems like those you should still be able to click on. Unless, is this all contained? There's, oh, okay, so all of that is in that 3x3 loop. So what we actually have to do is go through here and just turn that off. That should allow players, but not. Might not do the click through. Oh, no. Oh, because I have to this have to allow clicking directly on objects again. How about hidden objects? Oh, there's a grave back there. You can see that it's back there. Well, you can see that, but you don't get the visual effect. I can't eat, however. But that never identifies the object, so you can't get the back highlight. So we have if we disable 3x3 loop, cannot click, cannot interact with trees at all, or uh-oh. Okay, small disruption. Cannot interact with trees at all, or feed self, you can disable short check in same cell. Allows selecting trees at stump. That does that. If we disable selection of objects in 3x3 loop, then actually these should be separated. Can interact with trees at all, and we still cannot see objects behind trees. So we have to have some way to select them to get the preview behind effect. Already hit a short object, and this object is tall. Hit our placement behind. Maybe we don't call that a hit? Well, the problem is we read all this stuff. Well, actually, this is exactly what we want, and basically this is what we don't want. What? Qualified ID. What? Oh, I missed the... Right, he has a weird indentation style. We did not go back and do hit there, so I'm not sure what that's going to do. Oh, well, there's the grave. There's the U branch. All right, I need to put this, I need to put the stump selection back. Trees aren't selectable at all right now. Objects are. So I don't know if I need the hit flag back there. So that's, unfortunately, maybe a little cheaty. So I'll have to play with what this hit flag does. Well, let's, as long as we're here. All right, to interact with that. So the hit flag, well, we already hit, so I guess saying hit doesn't matter, does it? I guess I should double check. Well, I can, that's basically saying edible. There's actually surprisingly a few berries around here. Okay, yep, we can eat. So up here somewhere, we need to say we are not excluding short or tall objects for same cell selection. Alright, so now I can select the tree, I can get stuff off the tree. That's a little bit unfortunate, but I don't... I mean, I could probably try to figure out if you're holding an object and do something different there. Although I don't know if that information is going to be available in that place. Now, this applies, well, that's all objects in that sort of scan area. He originally said it was for moving, but I think it seems to actually handle, yeah. 168, yeah. Let's see if there's anything funny going on my network. We've got terrible colors going on, that's for sure. Oof. Really? Okay, so that's a problem. Firefox's authentication dialog box is completely modal. That's great. Well, at least the graphs are visible. Oh, that's too few dropped frames. We disconnected somewhere. Well, at least my preview's still up. In-out makes sense because I've got the preview running. Seems largely reasonable. Okay. So our main concern right now is that works great, but might be considered a little bit cheaty. So what we did was we disabled resetting hit location to 3x3 object. Appears to have no issues. Well, I can almost see having issues when we start playing with other parts of the game. Oh, you know what? I should probably look at, like, baskets and other container ship things. Those might be sprites. So first, I'm going to sharp rock to cut that stuff. The only containers we're going to get early on are going to be basket. Okay, that seems to be fine. Now, I actually don't remember if you could sub-target objects. Sharp stone. That's basket cycling. Oh, that's going to pick up the basket. I actually need 3 distinct objects, I think. Otherwise, the cycling might kind of hide it. Okay. So it doesn't seem to have affected that at all. Might have affected the very, very top of that a little bit. Of course, I'm not sure how that worked before. Living life. So this is just going to be an edit. And stylistically, we're usually doing stuff right away. So that is our basic change. Now it's possible. Where do we want that? We'd still want to detect that. Yeah. Does this function have any intent? I think the pointer hit record is all pointer move, pointer hit record, resets a bunch of stuff. Yeah, there's nothing about intent. Curve mouse over behind. Clothing tips around after we mouse. Let's say an item. In highlight only. Highlighted are placements. I don't know what our placements are. Silver spots behind. Well, it's a step. And we've got a lot of junk. I guess since I've kind of got a custom thing going, I could add a bunch of stuff to git ignore. Do not interact with the tops of trees. Should apply to any outside of cell object. Well, in cell. Yeah, I think that applies. So now, is there any way to detect? Well, picking stuff up was fine once you could. Well, like I said, there's two things that are abilities above and beyond the base client that might be actual more than mere conveniences. The ability to hide yourself behind things because you can click there, and I don't know if there's any way to do that without removing the navigation bonus of not having to worry about clicking on trees. And then being able to place objects behind trees, which, I mean, maybe there's like, okay, I guess there's, okay, I guess there's some magic pixels I never knew about. Well, not because this is my client, so you can always do that. There might be a magic pixel there, I don't know. Although I have found things hidden back here, so I think somebody knows some tricks. And these definitely have a bunch of holes in them, which it's actually harder to find without highlighting it. Okay, well, that didn't show up as stuff on my end, interestingly enough. But I did see a hitch in the player. Well, I might have to call this good enough for now. Because other than saying we have to detect this as like a secondary hit, and then somewhere farther down... Oh yeah, we'd actually have to get into click interaction code, where we somehow flag that scenario. And I think, well, of course now I've removed all the code. Hit an object true. Yeah, there's this. Hit our placement behind. So it sets it to our current location. I already hit a short object, but there's no short object. Oh, no, we actually got broken by the diffs here. Get object height. Oh, there actually is a height check here. This is also a directional check. It's very specifically tall objects. So I guess our main benefit is just an advanced ability to hide things. I mean, I can mostly just not use that, but I don't know about anyone else. Then again, anyone else can modify their client, so just making it slightly harder. In terms of not placing stuff behind, I'm not sure what to do about that. So we have to... Oh, you know what we did? It highlighted... It always highlights the object even above whatever else it might be covered by. So I don't think there's any explicit recognition of the blocking object. Yeah, so I don't see that it's easily solvable. Might be a project for another day, but I'm stumped right now. So that's probably going to be it for today. We'll try this out this afternoon and see what other problems we run into. Oh, I know one thing. What did I see? Was that in pointer hit? Yeah, it was in here. There was a short circuit. Force ground click. We use that here when we are following a road. Maybe rather than setting force ground click? We just say, or auto run. I think this might have been something I was kind of afraid to do. When I was doing just the auto run. Now, there's also the auto run and road issues, but I would need to figure out how to set up the test scenarios to do that. Yeah, so then that's... I mean, you still can't navigate through a object. So, I mean, actually that alone would have allowed made long distance travel through trees a lot better, because then, I mean, you still have some of the smaller navigations, but a lot of times the bigger runs are, for me, are auto runs. Huh. Huh. Well, you know what? I think the auto run was like, oh, well, the code I extended was always like trying to go to the farthest point of the screen, so you can't really pick an exact location. Anyway, that should keep that from Well, it wasn't already doing that somewhere, was it? Should draw path marks. Was this? Farther down from there. No, that's pointer down, which might actually mean that it's skipping. That stuff anyway. Huh. Cell walls blocking. Well, in theory, that's better. Also skip object detection during auto run. Alright, so that is it for today. We will try this out this afternoon. Thanks to Dog and Lake, Deadly Taco, Destructively Phased, Ocerat Gaming, Ruffalo, Stormy Ice Leopard, Catnox, Haskin TV, and Two Left for to Cry for hosting me. If you're looking for some place to go now, what do we got? I know earlier it was looking like I need to expand my Saturday morning coding selection. Looks like Makings of a Hero is going again. Working on a MOBA game. If you're looking for someplace cool to hang out, that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me, and goodbye. Oop. Oh, no, not that one. I remember why you turned on.